They say life changes in a single moment. But Emily Sanders never imagined hers would change because of a bleeding dog standing in the middle of a dark Chicago street. It was 12:47 a.m. Downtown Chicago had gone silent. That eerie silence that comes only after the last train passes and the neon signs start buzzing like they're tired too. Emily walked out of St. Harbor's Hospital, tugging her jacket closer as the cold wind slapped her face. She was exhausted, mentally drained, and honestly, dumb. A double shift does that to you. But today was worse. She had just lost a patient, a young boy, and she carried that weight like a stone in her chest. She just wanted to reach home, lock the door, and cry until she couldn't anymore. But fate had other plans. As she stepped into the street, her footsteps froze. A large German shepherd stood under the flickering streetlight. His fur was dirty, his breathing uneven, and blood dripping from his back leg. But he wasn't growling. He wasn't scared. He was staring at her, like he had been waiting for her. Emily whispered, "Hey, buddy, what happened to you?" The dog limped forward and collapsed near her feet. Emily's heartbeat jumped. This wasn't just a stray. This was a dog who had been through hell tonight. She knelt beside him gently, careful not to touch the wound. Okay, it's all right. I got you," she said softly, the nurse in her waking up instantly. Maybe it was instinct. Maybe it was destiny. But she couldn't leave him there, not tonight. Not in this city. Not like this. She tied her scarf around his wound, tight enough to stop the bleeding, but gentle enough not to hurt him. The dog looked up at her with those soft, trusting eyes, like he already knew she wouldn't walk away. Emily sighed. "Guess it's you and me tonight, huh?" She waved a taxi. The driver hesitated. "Ma'am, I can't take a bleeding dog," Emily cut him off. Voice suddenly authoritative, the same tone she used in the ICU. "I'm a nurse. He won't bleed on your seats. Start the meter." The driver gulped and nodded. And just like that, Emily and the dog traveled together, strangers broken in completely different ways. When they reached home, the dog refused to walk inside. He stood at the doorstep, stiff. Uncertain, Emily understood immediately. This dog hadn't been inside a home in a long time, maybe ever. She slowly held out her hand. "It's safe. I promise." After a few seconds, the dog stepped in, and Emily didn't know it yet, but she had just let a miracle walk into her life. Cleaning the wound, she placed him on a blanket, grabbed her emergency medical kit, and began cleaning the wound. The dog didn't snap, didn't growl, didn't move. He winced once, but his eyes stayed on hers, steady, trusting. "You're a good boy," she whispered. "What did you go through?" She noticed something, a collar mark, but no collar. Someone had owned him and abandoned him. Emily felt her chest tighten as she wrapped his leg carefully. The dog gently rested his head on her lap, and for the first time in months, Emily didn't feel alone. A new kind of night she made him food, a simple meal. Soft for an injured dog, and watched him eat like he hadn't eaten in days. Then he did something unexpected. He walked towards her, sat beside her sofa, and placed his head against her knee, not asking for food, not asking for attention, just staying with her. Emily exhaled shakily. "Why do I feel like you came into my life exactly when I needed you?" In that silent room, for the first time in a long time, her heart felt warm. But the night wasn't over around 3 a.m. Emily finally lay down on the couch. But before she could sleep, she felt something soft nudge her hand. The dog. He sat there, whimpering softly, afraid, alone. In pain, she got up, moved to the floor, and lay beside him on the blanket. The dog instantly curled up next to her. Resting his head against her arm, Emily whispered, "You're safe now. And I'm here." And for the first night since her mother's passing, Emily slept without crying. This wasn't just the night she saved a dog. This was the night a dog would save her, in ways she couldn't imagine, in ways no human ever had. Because this wasn't an ordinary stray. This was a protector, a survivor, a quiet hero, a dog who had found the one human he was destined to change. Sometimes the ones who seem helpless turn out to be the ones who save you. Emily was about to learn that the hard way. The morning after sunlight streamed through Emily's apartment window. The city was waking up. Sirens, honking, the faint smell of coffee drifting in from the street. But inside it was quiet, except for a soft, rhythmic breathing beside her. The dog, still curled on her blanket, stirred as she sat up. He wagged his tail small, cautious but enough to make her smile. "Morning, buddy," she whispered. "You slept well?" The dog nudged her hand with his nose. It was as if he understood every word, as if he knew. She wasn't going anywhere over the next few days. Emily took care of him. Vet visits, bandage changes, gentle walks in the quiet streets. She gave him a name, Max. Max was no ordinary dog. He was smart, observant, protective. He seemed to sense when she was tired, when she was sad, even when she was angry. One evening, after another grueling shift at the hospital, Emily came home, drained. Collapsing on the couch, Max jumped onto the floor beside her, placing a paw gently on her knee. She laughed softly through her exhaustion. "You know, I think you understand me more than anyone else," tilted his head, his eyes locking with hers. And in that moment, Emily realized she wasn't just saving him. He was saving her heart. A week later, Emily got a call at 11 p.m. It was the hospital emergency surgery needed, life or death. She ran to her car, Max following. She barely noticed him when she opened the door. Until she did, the city's streets were unusually dark. Rain had started, light but persistent. Suddenly, a figure darted into the street, an elderly man lost in the rain. Max barked. Emily hesitated, but Max ran forward, nudged the man out of the way, and pulled Emily back just in time. The car screeched. Tires splashed water. Heart racing, Emily hugged Max tightly. "You saved him." "And me," she whispered, tears mixing with the rain 8 days later. Emily learned more about Max. Vet records showed he had belonged to a police canine unit, trained for rescue, protection, and loyalty. Somehow, he had ended up abandoned. Yet his instincts never left him. Emily smiled softly, thinking about that night in the street. It wasn't chance. It was destiny. Months passed. Emily and Max became inseparable. Every night, he slept beside her. Every morning, he nudged her awake with a gentle paw. At the hospital, Emily noticed something. Patients seemed calmer when Max was around. Family smiled. Stress faded. Max wasn't just a pet. He was a healer. Not with medicine. Not with words, but with trust, love, and unwavering presence. One night, Emily was walking home from the hospital. A sudden collapse, she felt dizzy. Her heart pounding, Max barked urgently. Jumped onto her chest, nudged her, pawed her shoulder. He led her down the street to a nearby coffee shop where a kind stranger helped. Later, at home, she hugged him tightly. "You're my hero, Max, my real hero." Max licked her cheek, as if to say, "And you're mine." Life didn't magically get easy. Emily still faced long shifts, heartache, and lonely nights. But she wasn't alone anymore, because sometimes the ones who seem helpless turn out to be the strongest. Sometimes love isn't loud. Sometimes it comes in the form of a loyal German shepherd who shows up when you need it the most and stays forever. And in that city of millions, Emily learned a truth she would never forget. Rescue isn't just about saving a life, it's about being saved too.